Ms. Desai, am I saying your name right?
Senator, it's Desai.
Desai. You introduced your children, and I missed that part of your testimony. Are they here?
They are, Senator. My three daughters, one of them looks like she's asleep. She's probably not converted from Arizona time yet. They're 10, 7, and 5.
Kids, you can do a lot better than ice cream, okay? If you would like me to negotiate for you, I'll be happy to. Ms. Desai, Senator Durbin talked to you about a case on which you were counsel. Was that the case where plaintiffs sought to extend the voter registration period?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. This was a period of time set in statute by the legislature, as I recall, in which people in Arizona could vote.
Correct.
Right. And the plaintiffs wanted to extend that period of time.
Correct.
And they sued the Secretary of State?
Yes, Senator. Again, I wasn't involved at the trial court level, but if I remember correctly, the Secretary of State was a defendant. She might have been the only defendant, although I remember that the county recorders were involved at some point in that litigation.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back! Today we're diving into a fiery exchange from a recent Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. Senator John Kennedy grilled judicial nominees Roopali, Desai, and Doris Pryor on legal decisions. If you're into politics, law, or sharp questioning, this one's for you. Let's get into it. Things started lighthearted. Senator Kennedy congratulated the nominees and turned to Roopali Desai. He joked about negotiating for better than just ice cream. A rare moment of humor in a tense proceeding. But it didn't last long. Kennedy quickly pivoted to serious legal territory.
Who was the Secretary of State then?
The Secretary of State at that time and currently in Arizona is Katie Hobbs.
And what party is she in?
She is a Democrat.
Okay. In that case, did you make the decisions, or did the Secretary of State make the decisions?
Senator, whenever I represent a client, I endeavor to make decisions with my client, and after advising my client fully of the options, take direction from my clients.
Yeah, it's the way it worked when I practiced law, too. The Secretary of State decided to settle the case and extend the time to register to vote. Is that the ultimate outcome of the case?
Senator, there was discussion about a settlement, but the settlement could not be, if I remember correctly, there was not enough time to enter into and finalize a settlement.
He focused on a case Desai worked on where plaintiffs sought to extend Arizona's voter registration deadline. Kennedy questioned if it was appropriate for Secretary of State Katie Hobbs to agree with the plaintiffs. Desai clarified that all parties supported a Ninth Circuit ruling, but Kennedy pressed hard. Could the judiciary change a legislative timeline? If you find this helpful, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. More is coming your way. Who makes the call? Kennedy drilled down on decision-making authority. Desai emphasized she followed her client's lead, the Secretary of State. Kennedy questioned if this collaboration was lawful or political maneuvering. Desai handled it with poise, but the question hung in the air.
My understanding is, and I think it's accurate, that the Secretary of State and the plaintiffs went to the Ninth Circuit and said, we have worked this out. We recommend that you rule this particular way. Isn't that what happened?
Senator, I think it was all of the parties.
Right, all of the parties.
Correct, including the interveners, which included the political parties and the campaigns for both presidential candidates.
Okay. So the Ninth Circuit ended up changing the state statute, ultimately.
Senator, the order from the Ninth Circuit, I believe, was to reverse the district court's order extending the voter registration deadline, but allowing voters who had relied on that opinion or that order and registered to accept those voter registrations.
Right. Okay.
The universal injunction question. Then it was Judge Doris Pryor's turn. Kennedy switched gears to universal or nationwide injunctions. He asked what gives a district judge the right to issue rulings for the entire country. Judge Pryor referred to legal debates, but Kennedy pressed on. Is there a clear legal basis?
And the parties say, Judge, what is your legal basis for doing this? Is there a statute? Is it in the Constitution? What is the answer?
What within our district and the Southern District of Indiana, the injunction, the preliminary injunction, has been limited to that of the parties and the litigants.
Maybe I'm not being clear. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Just if you could, just tell me the legal basis. Where does a federal judge get the authority to issue a a universal injunction?
The authority that judges in the DC Circuit or in other areas that have applied a nationwide injunction, the question that was raised before the court, or the legal standard they have used, is questioning whether or not the federal government, a policy or executive power can be executed. In those circumstances, those judges have issued what been deemed as nationwide injunctions.
I know they have, but what's the legal basis for it?
Again, that's my understanding of when those have been enforced.
Okay. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Moments that matter. These exchanges weren't just legal nitpicking, they defined court power and legal authority. Kennedy's questions exposed cracks and forced nominees to think on their feet. Agree or not, he cuts through the noise and demands clarity. These moments shape the judiciary and influence future court interactions. Conclusion. So what did you think? Is Senator Kennedy holding the line or scoring political points? Drop your thoughts below. I read them all. Smash that like button, subscribe for more, and share this video. Thanks for watching.